put a scale on the depth stop to show where we are. So I suppose first off I want to put a 0 mark. So my little, it's a dart but they've got hardened points on them, so we will scribe in a 0 line. And then we'll take that to the bench and see if we can mark in the rest of it. Alright, let's have a go. So I can see where the 0 one should be. So I can put a definite mark across there. So now we have that one marked. Now we want to do so many increments, don't we? Now I suppose we can use one of these so we know how far we're going. Let's move you just over just a little bit because I want to use the edge of the bench. Turn that way. Now, shall we do this one side in inches? I can do the other side in millimetres, can't I? Well, I don't know if I'll scribe millimetres, but we want to bring that down to an inch, don't we? I'll have to do that away. Okay, so we want to mark that as 1 inch. Right, so I've got that. So the inch is now lined up. I don't know how that would work accurately like on a vernier or anything, but it's just a drill press scale. So that's 1 inch. We'll take it up. If I could do it easier that way around. Take it up to 2 inch. And I'm always going to use that bottom one as the reference. Always start from there. Right. A little bit more. Right, that's the 2 inch on. Halves there, another half there. And we want to go quarters, don't we? Right, I've marked it to 1/16. I suppose I really ought to put a number on there, but I haven't got any number punches. So we've got, and I've done them all at different levels. There's a couple I've gone a little bit out on, and some of them aren't quite accurately lining up, but for a drill press, for me, I'm quite happy with that. 1, 2, 3, 4. I go up to 4 and 5/16, which is about where the lock nuts will go up to. I'll give that side a polish. The other side's still as rough as when I ground it. But I think that'll do. I'll polish that side up and mark it up for millimetres. Will I mark it for millimetres? 4.5 inches, 112, probably 115 millimetres. It's a lot of marks. I don't think I'll bother going 30 seconds. 16ths on there, I can judge a 30 second. Hey, I'm quite pleased with that. Hey, this is just to show you it on there. See how well that will show up. It shows up. So I think that looks quite okay. Right, I think that is better over this side. Well, yeah, we've got a bit of a scale to work to. Much better. Right, I've just swapped over chucks on this from the old Jacobs one that has got the damage on. I'm hoping you can see that. That's just a cheapy Chinese one that I've got, but it's not, I ain't got the sharpest drill in there, to be honest, but that vice was jittering about before the Jacobs chuck, and that's fine. So it is a case of it is just the chuck that's doing it, so that's good news. What I'd like to do is actually go up a size in the chuck, whereas the Jacobs one was a 1/2 inch. I have, this is another cheapy Chinese, this is what I use on my lathe. That's a 1/13, but I would like to go up to 16 mil. On it. So I suppose that's quite possibly the equivalent, but I would like to go up to 16 mil with it, so that's what I want to do. So I'll look at that. So at least I've got that problem sorted. I know what it is, as suspected. Just a poor chuck. I'm not sure there's anything can actually be done with that. Now it's been whacked. But hey ho, it looks as though it had a bit of a bad life. I should imagine you can buy plenty of these on eBay that are in this condition. You don't know till you get them, I suppose, do you? Oh well. Well, my problem sorted anyway. Another little odds and sods thing to sort out. This is where the cable went through for the switch when it was mounted up there. But when I found it, it had some gooey, I suppose it was the remains of the rubber in there. I think there still is, perhaps a little bit. I can see something real soft in there. Anyway, I found another grommet. So go in. It's a little on the tight side, but it will go. There you go. It's another little finishing touch. Now the other thing I've been working on, I'll turn this round, is the bumper. That's only a vinyl outlet sticker on there. I've got some decent ones coming soon. I've got a bumper in there. This is a rough cut. It's made of that foam, but I think it's too soft. And it's not a very big thing at all. If you look on the drawing for it, how it scales into what like this dimension is, it shows it probably about 1/2 inch thick. The one I've got in there at the moment is, yeah, it's about 1/2 inch to 3/8, but that certainly is a much softer sound on there from what it was. So instead of the clang, so I'll see how that goes. But it's only done with that. I think it's a closed cell. It could be neoprene. I'm not really sure. Somebody who knows more about foam will tell me. But I've got some more. I only cut it out with a couple of core drills, that was all. So that's actually in there. What else have we got to talk about? A couple of little bits on here. The chuck, the ever-ending saga with a, or never-ending saga with a chuck. I wanted to go up a size. I wanted to go up, so I've got 16mm capacity, but I can't find a drill chuck with a 33 taper to fit the 33 taper that's on the end of the spindle. So it's either get another chuck, more than likely a Jacobs chuck, or just have a look, see what I can do with this. And it's a little bit looser than what it was, but I've actually got this running true again. It just took a little bit of massaging with I've got some small diamond burrs that I just took a little bit of massaging just to ease around these, and tried the drill in it. I tried a very long drill in it, put a square up and checked it, and it's fine, very fine. Now another thing I do want to do to increase my capacity and give me the chance of putting a 16mm drill chuck in is I have this ER32 collet chuck. And what I want to do is mount that on that spindle, and there's a thread on there, part of the spindle, that is a 1 1/16 by 20 thread, 20 TPI. That has got a starting, that's 40mm overall there, so there's plenty of meat on that. It's actually larger than this diameter here. So I'm going to see about having that bored out and tapped, so that'll fit on there, but it's still too long, so I'm going to have that reduced in length as well. Probably take half of that off. That should be 100mm from there down to this line here. So I'll have that reduced down to 50mm, have it bored, have it threaded, so that can go on. I can get collets ER32, I think they go up to 20mm. But I can also get a straight arbor with a B16 taper on it, and then get a B16 tapered chuck that'll go up to 16mm. So hopefully if I can get this done, this will give me the opportunity for doing some very, very light milling on it. If I get a small little cross vise or XY table or something to go on here, so that'll improve or increase the usefulness of the drill quite a bit. So there's some little projects I'm going on with. That's the nut that goes on there. So that's going well. What else have I been up to? I've given that a polish. I actually took the chrome off myself and polished that. give it a polish up. Fingerprints on it. I don't know if you can see that. It does come up quite nice. It was actually pitted, and I can still very, very faintly see it was quite pitted where those dings were on the chrome, and it actually took quite a bit of sanding down. I was hand sanding it for quite some time just to take it down where it could be polished without those divots being visible. But that will chrome lovely now. So that's done. What else do I need to go into? Still haven't got the labels yet, as I said with that one. That's just a vinyl. Still haven't got the labels yet. I suppose the other thing I can show you is I have built a little stand for it, so now it's at a decent height instead of that little mobile unit I had for it. It just basically looks like a little bedside cabinet, I suppose, but it's got drawers on it for keeping drilling related bits on. I mean, that's got the hole saws, spare chucks, bits and pieces, but mostly sort of drill bits. There's Forstner bits in there, high-speed steel bits. In there. Loads of different types of countersinks. There's all that. And then down in the bottom one, we've got, this is like tapping equipment. So there's tap handles, taps, cheapy tap die set. We've all got these, I suppose. Tap follower. Sure, what's happening there? Oops. Oh, these are just other small, very small milling cutters. That's all. Another mill, set of mills. I think I've shown you them before. Bits of greases. A larger die handle. Got 1/2 inch 20 in there at the moment. It's on a mobile or on casters, so it can be wheeled around the shop. I don't really want this set on a bench anymore. We can lock the casters down so it doesn't move. I'm quite pleased with how that's coming on. Well, good progress. Right. Grub screw. Now you probably remember me whinging about couldn't find these. Couldn't find 1/4 thread grub screws. You know what? I never did find them. That's a 1/4. But you know what? The thread is actually 1/4. It never was 1/4. I don't know where I think I know where I was getting the 18 TPI from. Was from another tap I had that I was using. Let me just take this out. And that was for these things, and that is a 5/16 18, I think. That is an 18 TPI, and you can clearly see they are different. I checked the tap as well that I got, and it is a 20 TPI tap, so just my own, I don't know, stupidness, forgetfulness, didn't look at the tap properly. But anyway, I realised it the other day, ordered some 1/4 thread grub screws, Now that can go in. And that's another little job done. There you go. That's that finished. We're nearly there. Alright, hi there. So I think we can call this the end of this series on restoring this old drill. It's probably been about 4 or 5 weeks since I've last done a dedicated video to just this drill, and I've been using it, so this is just sort of having a look back at the build. What I like about it, what I think I should have done different, different bits and pieces. So overall, I'm quite pleased with the drill. It works nicely. When I run it up first time after I'd got the motor running, there was a slight tick from the motor, but that's settled down now. Everything runs fine. I think what I'll do for you is I'll run through the speeds. So this is its slow speed. Fine, nice and quiet. Speed. Still runs nice. Maybe I'm a bit quiet if I take the chuck off for the moment. Okay, third speed. Still quite nice. It's not noisy. It's not quiet, but it's not noisy. And this will be the high speed running on the pulley that I did the repair on. Still okay. It seems to run nice. No horrible noises from anywhere. So everything works fine on it. There's not a problem with it. I think if we start off with the paint, I don't know how well you can see, but there's 1 or 2 chips on here, and that's mainly from where I use the handle and it falls against there. The paint I got was from Lidl's. I don't think it's bad paint. I think perhaps I should have used a primer with it. Some form of primer I think would have been ideal. It may not have chipped so easy. But I'm not overly bothered about that, that's fine, and these are only minor little chips, and I think they probably would have happened anyway. The main machine is fine. The paint's holding up quite well, it's alright. The label, or the logos, so the Atlas one, that is still the vinyl one I made myself. The printing company, they couldn't produce the labels that were a suitable standard. They tried, they gave it their best. It just didn't work out that they were suitable for going on here. The ink they were using just would not stay onto the metal in a sufficient way. So I've not give up on that yet. I'm still looking at doing that, but I think what I'm going to do later on is going to be a project somewhere down the line, or perhaps be I'll get into some screen printing and etching. What I'd like to do at this stage is I'll actually cut out the aluminium disc for there. I'll screen print it in negative and then etch. So I'll etch down everything that's going to be like where it's red on here. That'll be etched down below main surface. The writing will be etched down. And then that will be painted over and then cleaned over the top, so everything that, yeah, it'll come up so that what's white on here will show up as the aluminium metal. And I'll do the same with the logo, the Moses logo on the side. But that's going to be a bit later in the year. I've got other things going on in the workshop at the moment. I usually get busier in the workshop during summertime. And this was an overwinter project. So, what else can I say? The chuck, it's still behaving itself. It's freeing up on its own with use. I think it hadn't been used much before, but I think I've cured the issue of where it was running off centre. So with that little bit of work I've done on it. So that will actually turn mostly by hand. It gets a bit stiff in places, but will turn by hand where it wouldn't before. So that's all quite nice. And so far I've done nothing about having these parts re-chromed, and actually at the stage I'm at now, I'm not sure I will. Maybe I'll do something with them. We'll see what happens down the line. If I get something else in that I want chroming, I might bung them in with it. It's not a major issue, and they're still staying absolutely fine. They're still nicely polished. So they're okay, absolutely fine. The bumper that I put in has lost its effect. I think with that foam rubber, there's the spare one I cut. It's too soft. I think what the material should be is hard rubber, and that's another thing I'm going to look at trying sometime. I'll get a piece of, well, I'm sure it is 12mm thick, so I'll get a piece of 12mm or half-inch thick hard rubber and put in there. This stuff is just too soft. So that'll do. But everything's working fine and as expected. The only sort of a little issue I would say about it, I personally think this would run, would run better if it had something like a Z section belt on here. No, sorry, not an A section belt, this is a Z. And I think it needs something a bit more beefier, because I have stalled this spindle and the motor will still run with the right tension on here, so perhaps that would work fine. This logo I made up here, that's starting to fade out a bit now, and I don't know why. I don't know what's happened with that, whether it's just got, whether oil's got on it and affected it, but that's another one I can perhaps match in with when I do the other ones at some point. But I've really done nothing much else with it. Put a little spring clip on there to keep the chuck key in. I touched in the Atlas with a bit of black paint just to highlight that. But overall, it's still fine. I've not got anywhere with the collet chuck yet. I'm not sure with the ER32 collet chuck I'd got whether it's accurate enough. I don't know. It was a cheapie from Chinese, and I've seen reports on other sort of YouTube channels and that have got them, that they've got quite a bit of run out on them, or unacceptable run out for what I'm going to do with it. And at the moment I've got no real way of checking that, so I think that's just going to wait for now to see where we go with that. But I have got a new project in the workshop at the moment that I'm doing. I'm looking at it now, or looking at it covered up. But you'll see that coming up. That'll be coming up in the next series of videos. I think I put a hint onto it. It's a lathe, which I could have used when I made this. It would have come in quite handy, making some of the bits, especially making that bit. I suppose that's one of the bits I'm most pleased with, how I did that, how it came out, and how it finishes off. I mean, if I hadn't have done that, how that looks, not very nice, and how it looks with it on there, I'm quite pleased with it. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed watching me make these videos and watching me restore this old machine. It's been fun doing it. I've learnt a lot along the way. I've learnt an awful lot. It's quite an old interesting machine this to build, and I think perhaps I've gone a bit more in depth with it than some others have that have rebuilt these on YouTube. Hopefully it'll be a help to somebody else who rebuilds these in the future sometime. I don't know, but it's been a lot of fun. And this little drill device on here is working out fine. I've actually I've drilled a couple of holes in the tabletop. There were already some holes in it. I've drilled a couple of holes in and tapped them so they actually match up with the slot machine slots on there, so I can actually clamp that down. It will, because they are slotted. It will move backwards and forwards, so that's nice. Underneath, I've got a little scissor jack underneath, which makes it easier if I just want to do a bit of fine adjustment on the table. Just bring it up or down. So I think we'll finish it there. There, the Atlas drill. Now, that was the Atlas. Is it a 74? I've been calling it a 74 all the way through this series. I think it could be a 63. I think there's some confusing information on the internet about how these machines are numbered. And I think actually the 63 is the bench version, the 73 is the floor standing version. And from information I'd seen from other people that had put stuff on, and not actually from Atlas themselves, they described this as a 74. I don't think it is. I think it is a 63. But if you know better, correct me or tell me if I'm right. I don't know. If you know actually what it is, what it should be described as, let me know. But anyway, I'll see you on the next build. Bye for now.